Good afternoon and hello from high up in the Canadian Rockies. In fact, I'm up on Bow Summit, the second highest point you can drive to in Canada, and the highest point on the Icefields Parkway. They've just redone the tour coach parking up by famous Peyto Lake. There's so many people out on the viewing platform, but I know I already have a YouTube video from up here, but the colors now are just so spectacular that I feel as though I need to share both this walkway down. This path is, oddly enough, even so many thousands of people come to see this lake in the few months that it's accessible each year. Few people know about this little path down here. So I'm up above 2,000 meters, about 7,000 feet, and you feel it when you, of course, run uphill. Watch your step coming down. But these trails in here are just remarkable. This lake is formed off the Peyto Glacier, named for Bill Peyto, one of our early mountain guides, and all-around interesting Banff character. But the glacier is up behind me. It's part of the Wapta Icefield. There's also the Bow Glacier, which gives birth to the Bow Lake, the headwaters of the Bow River. But are you ready for these colors? This is arguably the most intensely turquoise lake here in the Canadian Rockies, and one of the most intensely turquoise in the whole wide world. It's such a treat to come up here. In fact, today I've been up at the Columbia Icefields with a tour group, and everyone was tired, but because the road was open, how dare I not stop at this magical place. So there is a big, fairly deep, long lake, and this becomes the headwaters of the Wapta River. So here on Highway 93, the Icefields Parkway, if you come from Banff going up to Jasper, you first come up the Bow Valley to Bow Summit, the Bow Lake, and then up and over the pass to here. Peyto Lake flows down. If you can look way in the distance, you can see waterfowl lakes, and this Wapta Valley eventually drains into the North Saskatchewan River, and that's the Saskatchewan Valley. From the Saskatchewan Valley, then drive up to the Icefields themselves, the Columbia Icefields, second largest non-polar icefields in the world. And then from there, that gives birth to the Wapta. Wapta River goes through the Wapta Valley and into the Athabasca Valley, which then flows up past Jasper. But sometimes all that information is fascinating, but look at the depth of this turquoise here. That is caused, of course, famously by rock flour. What is rock flour? It is as the glaciers grind up the rock. Glaciers flow. Now, of course, they're receding much more than they are growing these days, but they still flow. And because of the soft limestone here in the Rockies, grinds them up into such small, fine particles that those particles neither float nor sink. And they refract off that turquoise color. Nice, big, healthy chipmunk there. And that's why you get this deep turquoise, and this tells us that the glacier is melting right now. And it is such a treat to come and see this. I cannot really too easily get to a position to show you the glacier itself, but if I curve around in the back here, you can see some of the snow and ice up in the mountain passes. So I'm still in the province of Alberta here. However, just on the other side of the mountains behind me is the Continental Divide. Oh, and look at that. Oh, I just saw. So we still have this little fella hanging out here, but I just saw in another burrow a pika, P-I-K-A. Oh, there it is. If you can possibly see the pika right in, you may have to zoom in. I will spook it if I get any closer. But the pika is one of the creatures that we use as an indicator for climate change because they hibernate in a very specific bandwidth of elevation. They have been moving over time because of climate change. So that is just a treat to see. I was hoping he might or she might chirp for us because they have a very distinct chirp. And this little, there we are. So there's a huge amount of life in these ecosystems up through here. But what a treat to come up here to Peyto Lake in all its glory. Just show everyone for one moment the actual new viewing platform that was all rebuilt. I guess year before last, because I did come up here when it was open, but there's a new path down, so that's where it is up there. But I came down here to give this little YouTube tour, just because I knew I'd be away from the crowds at that point. But this little person is just eating nuts right there, making a bit of a racket. So thank you for joining me. It's fun to be back home in my corner of the world here. I'm back sharing the magnificent beauty of this lake here. So if you can, please do share these videos and ask people to subscribe. We're getting up towards the 1,000 followers, which apparently is an important thing. I don't really follow that too much, but it would be good news. So all the very best. And I'll just do a quick turn around here and say peace and love, everyone, from Peyto Lake, Banff National Park.